Good evening, everybody. Happy to see you again for the Lamrim class. Anyway, so before we start the Dharma class, please everybody generate proper motivation for becoming Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. In order to becoming Buddha, we need to do a lot of practices. In order to practice, we need to learn. That's why we should think today I'm going to study Lamrim to know all the practices for practicing, then becoming Buddha. So any practice of, any Dharma practices is began with the meditation on impermanence. Every day, every morning, every moment, we must remember everything is impermanent. My life is impermanent. I am impermanent. So anytime, I'm going to die, I'm going to pass away. If there's no next life, then there's no need to worry about next life. So based on different religion, they also believe there's a next life, there was a previous lives. Even though according to modern science, or many modern scientists, they are pure scientists, they very close to believe in next life. This means there's a next life. After we die, we have to go for next life. So everybody has seen, our friends, our relatives, our brother, our father, they passed away. When they pass away, they cannot take anything, the material things, except the karma. That's why the karma follows as your shadow. So that's why when you remember the impermanence, it reminds you, the ending of this life. But this life is not the ending, it's ending of this life. Also it reminds you when you die, when we pass away, we cannot, bring with us anything except the karma. So karma, there's a two, positive karma and negative karma. So based on our experience, the most time, even though within one day, we accumulate a lot of negative karma, maybe 80% negative karma, maybe 20% positive karma. Then when we die, moment of the death, then we will have a lot of negative thoughts because we accumulate a lot of negative karma. Due to the negative karmas, we have a lot of negative thoughts. Due to negative thoughts, we have a lot of like attachment, anger, desire, hatred. Then all of the negative karma become cause to reborn in lower realms. So that's why every day we must remember impermanence, particularly remember the ending of this life, remember all the negative karma, always try to reduce, try to eliminate the negative karma, try to generate positive karma. Then moment of the death, we will have very pleasant feeling because we accumulate a lot of positive karma. Due to the positive karma, due to the virtuous action, then there's a hope we will take a rebirth in higher realms as a good human being or celestial being. So every time, please generate the proper motivations. So becoming Buddha, achieving Buddha is not simple. It is not that simple. We can achieve anytime. We can anybody can achieve. So we can achieve after putting a lot of effort after doing a lot of study, after doing a lot of meditation. In order to do meditation, in order to do all the practices, we must learn, right? We must learn. Even the simple job, what we have been doing in this life, most of them we learn from our parents, we learn from our teacher, or learn from our friends. Without learning, we cannot do much. Dharma, of course, we have to learn, based on the right teaching, depend on, right guru and right master, qualified guru and qualified master or teachers. So those are the conditions before we practice, before we meditate on Dharma. So Lamrim is very important to study. So as usual, before we start Lamrim, I will shortly explain the Buddhist psychology. So usually, we have two types of minds. One type of mind can perceive the object directly. For example, we can hear the sound directly. We no need to use any logics, any reasoning. You can communicate directly to the sound, smell. Then there's another mind which is perceive, which is sees the object not directly. We have to see, we have to perceive through reasoning, logics, this kind of thing. So direct, valid perceivers, there are 4 different types of direct, valid perceivers. Sense direct perceivers, which is we have 5 senses. Second, the mental direct perceivers. Thus, the mental direct perceiver always arises between 5 senses and between 5 senses and the 6th mind. The 6th mind, number 6. Then number 3, self-cognized direct perceiver. This also arises after 5 senses or after 6 minds. Then number 4, the yogic direct perceivers. Those are very important because when we practice impermanence, when we meditate on impermanence, first we need to know the meaning of impermanence. Once you know the impermanence, then we must know there's a two level or 2 types of, 2 different level of impermanence. One is gross, one is very subtle. The gross impermanent, we everybody, understand. Everybody can see, we can feel the, gross impermanence. For example, we can see, the baby, they grow up, become teenager, then going to get older. Or also object, we can see in the spring is to grow, like arise, remains for a while, then decay. So these are, we no need to use any reasonings and logic, we can understand. The second level of impermanence, we have to know based on, logics, reasoning, based on, analytical meditation. That means you can see there's a gross impermanence. The gross impermanence, exists based on subtle impermanence. For example, we have 1 hour duration. 1 hour exists because there are 60 minutes, right? 60 minutes. We have a 60 minutes because within the 60 minutes, there's a, like 60 minutes. That means 10, 20, 15, like this minute. Within the 10 minutes, there's a, like a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. Then we just focus on 1 minute. Within 1 minute, there's another, moment you call, milliminute. So milliminute, we still can divide, many more subtle. That means the gross impermanent possible to exist because there's a subtle impermanence. Subtle changes, subtle movement. Those kind of subtle impermanence we have to know through analytical meditation, through logics and reasoning. When you understand, the subtle impermanence, then every time you need to familiarize your mind with the subtle impermanence. When you really think about the subtle impermanence, look like you are really moving, by, like say, faster rocket. So you are look like sitting in the rocket. The rocket is moving so fast, right? So fast. That means everybody, we think, I was yesterday, I am today, I will be tomorrow. It's a really big mistake. So we are moving, changing momentarily, very fastly, moving, changing, moving towards where? Moving towards end of this life. Very fast. Then every day you just meditate on the subtle impermanence. Then finally your mind becomes very familiar with the impermanence, subtle impermanence. Then even though you are meditating on subtle impermanence, but that moment you can perceive, the subtle impermanence based on the imaginary image of the subtle impermanence. Because you cannot see through your eyes. You can understand. When you understand, you have a thoughts. The thought has an image, imaginary of the impermanence. You are communicating impermanence through the imaginary of the impermanence. Then many years meditate on subtle impermanence. Then the imaginary between the subtle impermanence and mind, the imaginary become more thin and thin. So finally, the imaginary in your thoughts going to disappear. Then you can see the subtle impermanence directly, not your eyes. See directly by your sixth mind. That we call, yogi direct perceiver. Yogi means you have to do a lot of, yoga. Yoga not necessarily physical yoga. We call it mental yoga. Mental yoga, your mind have to familiarize with the meditation. It has four. Actually, 1, 2, 3. There's three types of, 4 types of yogic direct perceiver. What are they? Without looking at your text, can you tell me? I asked you to do homework, right? What are they?
Hearers, solitary realizers, and Mahayanis.
Yeah, Mahayanis. For example, look at. So generally we have two paths. We call Hinayana paths and Mahayana paths. So within the Hinayana practitioner who practice the Hinayana paths, we can divide into two, groups. One we call Hearer. Another, second we call solitary realizer. Then we have, the Mahayan practitioner. So three of them, among you can be, hearer, you can be solitary realizer, you can be Mahayan practitioner. It depends on you. Then both of them practice, impermanence, also emptiness, selflessness. So when they practice for meditation, for emptiness many years, finally they can perceive the, impermanence, emptiness directly. Then second, when you reach, how many paths you have to go through before you, achieve Buddhahood or liberation. 5 paths. 5 paths. 5 paths. Very important. 5 paths. What are the, path number 1? Path of accumulation. Look at path of accumulation. Accumulation. This means, accumulation means, like a accumulate, bring together all the condition. For example, renunciation. Then, if you practice Mahayana path, the great compassion, bodhicitta, when you practice, renunciation, impermanence, emptiness, then you accumulate, you collect, most of the very important, factor to practice to, for achieving Buddhahood. So, parts of accumulation paths. The second, what is the second path? Path of preparation. For example, before we cook something, we need to collect, right? Water or vegetable, oil, we need to collect so many things. Then now you are preparing to cook the food. So after you, meditate, or after you fully accomplish renunciation or great compassion, you fully realize emptiness. Now you really doing preparation to achieving, liberation or Buddhahood. Because, preparation. So within the preparation paths, there are 4 different levels. 4 different levels. The 4 different levels you can differentiate based on how your practice, develop. Mainly, develop of understanding of emptiness and develop of understanding of selflessness. Then, what is the third part? Part of seeing. Seeing what? Seeing the emptiness directly, seeing the subtle impermanence directly, seeing the selflessness directly. The seeing part. That's why look at, from the point of view, there are, entities, those are part of seeing, meditation, no more learning. Right? Seeing part, meditation part, no more learning. That means there are, 3 types of direct perceiver based on seeing paths, based on meditation paths, based on no more learning paths. So, no more learning paths, I have to explain a little bit, give you some information. For example, there are 3 students. One student say, I want to finish primary school. Only I want to go up to primary school. Class what? Class 8? 6. Yeah, in India, like class 8, let's class 6. Then second student say, no, I'm not only going to go to primary, until primary school, I want to go high school. You call high school? Standard school. How many, what the class? 4 years after 6. Yeah, that means it's 10 years, 10 class. Then another student say, no, I want to finish, I want to go all the way to university. There's 3 different students, right? One student who wished to go only the primary school. So when he finished the primary school, he no need to learn anything because this is his target. No more learning, right? It doesn't mean he no need to learn anymore. So he wished to go in like another high school, then he have to study continuously. Then still he wished to go university, so still have to study continuously. That means the hearer, the solitary realizer, the Hinayan practitioner, through 5 paths, finally he reached to the no more learning paths. That means when he become arhat, arhato, or no more. It doesn't mean the practitioner no need to learn anymore. If he wished to become a Buddha, wish to achieve the Buddhahood, then he still need to learn. Right? Then just mean, the practitioner go all the way to the Arhato, state, Arhat state. Then again, start from the accumulation paths, which is Mahayana accumulation paths. So we have to say, 10 types of Hinayana paths. Then 5, sets of the Mahayana paths. That means totally 15. 5 sets of paths in Hirar, then 5 sets of solitary Rilazar, then 5 sets of the Mahayana. Totally 15. Okay, so the no more learning doesn't mean they don't have to learn anymore. If wish to become Buddha, they have to learn. For example, the student who wish to go to high school, then after primary school he have to go another 4 years. There's no more learning path. From the point of view, the aspect one can possess the 16 having aspect of 16 attributes of 4 noble truths. Those are very important. Normally, when we study our 4 noble truths, we just count the number 4, right? Truth of suffering or origin of suffering, then path of suffering, truth of the path, and truth of the path of cessation, path to the cessation. We just count the 4 noble truths. Each truth has how many? 4 attributes. For example, truth of suffering has 4 attributes. What are they? Impermanent. Look at the beginning of the Buddha teaching, start with the impermanence. What Buddha said? This is truth of suffering. Truth of suffering. The doctor said, oh, you have this sickness, truth of suffering. The doctor said, you must know you have this problem. Same Buddha said, this is truth of suffering. You must recognize. So, in order to know the complete, the meaning of truth of suffering, then you need to know the 4 characteristics or 4 attributes. Number 1, Buddha said, the truth of suffering, the physical body is impermanent. Right? Impermanent. Second, the truth of body, the nature of suffering. Right? Impermanence, suffering. The third one, selflessness. Your body is selflessness. Then fourth, emptiness. Emptiness. That means in order to know, the 4 noble truths completely, you must know the 16 attributes or 16 characteristics of 4 noble truths. Then you're going to understand complete, set of 4 noble truths. Then the last one, from the point of view having aspect of gross and subtle selflessness. The next time I will shortly explain the differences between gross and subtle selflessness. Okay, so this is short explanation about Buddhist psychology. So before we start the new class or new chapter, I will shortly review, from beginning of the Lamrim till the new lessons. So we stop, I think, the 4 graduates, right? Okay. Look at the Buddhist, the way of teaching is very systematic, it's very ordered. Let's say, everybody really sick. Everybody really ills. Now what we need? We need medicine to cure, recover our illness. So in order to cure medicine, we need a doctor. Also we must neither the right prescription of medicine. Right? Same thing before we, practice Dharma, or before we practice Lamrim, whatever, there's a true tradition, based on Nalanda tradition, you must, before you receive teaching, you must check the Guru, right? The Guru is pure or not, the Guru is genuine or not. That means what called purity of Guru, right? The purity of the speech of the Guru. Then, the purity of the master speech. Then, the purity of the disciple. That means you know this Guru, this master is really good, highly qualified teacher. Then, second, what you need to know? You must know yourself, right? So, if I have a really desire, do I have a really good motivation to learn the Dharma? Right? Yes, the Guru is very qualified Gurus, or you have all the condition to listen, to practice of Dharma. Then third, the purity of teaching. Make sure, the Guru is right, or you have all the condition. Make sure the teaching which is going to teach, going to receive from teacher, make sure the teaching, come from Buddha Shakyamuni. Doesn't matter the teaching is, any languages, or in Tibetan language, Chinese, Korean, Japan, doesn't matter, even though which language. Make sure the teaching is taught by Buddha Shakyamuni. Right? Then, next another tradition of the Vikramalashila. Vikramalashila. There's a two different pronunciation. So also the same, the greatness of the composer or composer of the the text, and greatness of the teaching. Then how we can receive, how teach, how we listen the teaching. Then it's give, when you study this kind of, then you're going to have, the complete understanding of the master, complete understanding of yourself, the complete understanding of the teaching. That means the doctor is right, good doctor. Also, for example, the medicine is very good, very powerful. If your body is very weak, too weak, you cannot take the medicine, right? Medicine is so strong, your body is so weak. So you have the ability, you have the right motivation. Make sure, the medicine is right or not. So we study in the past this thing. The next one, the four greatness. What are they? What are the four greatness?
That all the teachings are free of contradiction.
Okay, number two.
Coming to understand that all the teachings are instructions for practice.
Number three.
It is defined the purpose intent.
Number four.
Automatically refraining from great wrongdoing.
Okay, that's good. That means greatness of the teaching, right? So when you study about Heart Sutra, it never explained, there's no contradiction between Mahayana teaching and Hinayana teaching. It never explained there's no contradiction between Vajrayana, Sudra Mahayana and Vajra Mahayana, right? When you study Lamrim, then you really going to understand there's no contradiction between Mahayana teaching and Hinayana teaching. There's no contradiction between, Sudra Mahayana and Tantra Mahayana. All teachings are, mainly for practices, mainly for practice, for achieving Buddhahood, achieving for liberation. That means as a Buddhist, we make sure we must have an equal respect to Mahayana teaching, Hinayana teaching, or Vajrayana teaching. At the same time, we must have an equal respect to Mahayana practitioner, Hinayana practitioner, or Vajrayana practitioner. You should not discriminate. Look at all medicine mainly for what? Mainly for cure the sickness. That means all the teaching, taught by Buddha Shakyamuni or commentary by any master, they mainly give instruction how to practice, how to cure the emotion sickness. Second number, what is the greatness of the second greatness?
Understand that all the scriptures are instruction for practice.
Yeah, that means, any instruction. When you open any Dharma book, when you open, what do you explain? Be good person, control your, negative thoughts, generate, the positive minds, right? Mainly practice the, Shila, practice of Jnana, practice of wisdom, Jnana, right? Mindfulness, Shila, and Jnana. None of teaching can say you should not practice morality. None of teaching say you should not practice mindfulness. None of teaching say you should not practice wisdom, right? When you open any Buddhist teaching, according to Mahayana tradition or Hinayana, Vajrayana, always explain, train your mind, purify negative karma, generate positive mind, achieve Buddhahood enlightenment. That means all teaching mainly instruct to you practice. So what is the number 3? Yeah. Do you know the meaning? Easy to understand, conquer intent. That means, look at the Buddha lifetime, Buddha was, we can say, Buddha-ist, if the is, or you can say Buddha was, the Buddha Shakyamuni was, or Buddha Shakyamuni is, right? According to Mahayana tradition, we always say the Buddha is, the Buddha Shakyamuni is. He always, remind with us, according to Mahayana tradition. According to Hinayana tradition, according to, for example, Thai Buddhist tradition or Burmese Buddhist tradition, they say Buddha was. Buddha was, that means he was in India in the 2670 years ago. Now, no more. They use Buddha was. We say Buddha is. Look at, what is the main, purpose or motivation Buddha, came to the world? What was the motivation of the Buddhas? Liberate, right? How? Look at, what is the main purpose, more motivation to be doctor? Nowadays can be different. In the past, yes, I want to be doctor to help others. Now, I want to be doctor, make more money. Right? Others, yeah. Yeah. I don't think, of course, many people have a really good motivation to be doctor, but there are so many people who wish to be doctor to make more money. So Buddha, is not like, Buddha always have just one motivation, to liberate all sentient being from samsara. Liberate from samsara, reach to the liberation or reach to the Buddhahood. This was the Buddha, motivation, intent. Then all the teaching, Hinayana teaching, Mahayana teaching, Vajrayana teaching, all the teaching emphasize how to liberate, right? How to achieve Buddhahood. That means, you can understand the main motivation, main purpose of the Buddha. When you see the history of Buddha, look at, first he gave teaching about what? Mainly 4 noble truths, right? That means he just lay the foundation. The second time, then he give more deeper level of teaching, which is emptiness. First, Buddha introduced, to the disciples, okay, the body is suffering, the nature is suffering. So we are in samsara. What are the cause and condition? Ignorance, attachment, desire are the cause and condition to, bound in samsara, to have a suffering in the samsara. Those are the cause and condition to bound in samsara. If there's no any, and there's no way people can free from samsara. There's no way, people free from attachment, ignorance. Then Buddha, I don't think Buddha will, Buddha could talk about this cause and condition. Not only that, Buddha said, those are the cause or condition, bound in the samsara. So how we can cut? Then he said, practice the path. When you look at this is truth of suffering, you must recognize, right? Then second, when he talk about the origin of suffering, what Buddha says, this is origin of suffering, you must eliminate. Suffering, recognize. Origin of suffering, eliminate. Then third, cessation. How he said, this is cessation, you must achieve. Right? Then the last, when he talk about the path, truth of the path, how he said, this is path, you must practice. This is suffering, you must recognize. This is origin of suffering, you must eliminate. That means you are sick, you have a serious sickness, you must recognize. The source of sickness is, like a blood pressure or whatever, you must eliminate. Then after you eliminate the sickness, what are you going to have? You're going to have a healthy life, right? How you can have a healthy life? You must follow the advice of a doctor. You take the medicine, right? That means second time when he talk about the emptiness, he very much emphasize how we can eliminate the root of the samsara, root of the suffering. That means subtle ignorance, right? Then not only that, when he explained emptiness, that the second time when he turned below dharma, emptiness, at the same time we believe, historically we believe Buddha taught the Vajrayana teaching. At the same time, when he talk, give a teaching about Prajna Paramita in the vulture peak, at the same time he gave teaching about what? Vajrayana teaching at the South India. Now we can go South India. That means second time when he explained, very much emphasized the Vajrayana teaching, then he emphasized how we can achieve Buddhahood in a faster way. Very faster way. That means, he already make a plan for teaching of Four Noble Truth is the foundation. The Prajnaparamita teaching is mainly for, realize emptiness. The Vajrayana teaching, he very much emphasized for the disciple how they can achieve Buddhahood very easily, very faster way. That means you can see there's no any contradiction between Hinayana, Mahayana, Vajrayana. Mainly Buddha think, how all sentient beings liberate from suffering, how they can achieve Buddhahood. What's the last greatness? The greatness of wrongdoing. Look at, when you understand, there's no contradiction between, different, teaching, different tradition. Finally, you have a pure faith towards all tradition. That means you can see, yes, I am Mahayan practitioner, but still I need to practice the Hinayana path. You never, reject, you never say, Hinayana teaching no good. You must say, I am Mahayan practitioner, I must practice the Hinayana practices, I must need to study Hinayana teaching. Then when you practice Vajrayana teaching, also you're not going to reject, you're not going to say Hinayana teaching no good, Bodhisattva teaching no good. You must say, I am Vajrayana practitioner, I need to practice Bodhisattva paths, I need to practice the Hinayana paths. Then you full have a pure faith, trust, all tradition, all teaching. Then automatically, the wrongdoing, which is, abandon, Hinayana teaching, abandon Vajrayana, Bodhisattva teaching, abandon Vajrayana teaching. It's automatically, stop to abandon all the teaching. Nowadays you can see, many people say, I am Vajrayana practitioner. You must follow Vajrayana practice. You no need to practice all the Bodhisattva practices. You don't need to practice Hinayana practices, right? Many people, many masters says. So that's why, after studying Lamrim, you're going to understand all of them very easily. So the next, how to listen and explain the teaching. So I ask you to do some homework. Okay, now we follow the Lamrim teaching, page number 54. Homework until what page number? 57. 67, right? Okay. So before you just, really open the Lamrim, can you tell me at the beginning of how to listen and explain the teaching, how many headings are there? Heading. Three, four, maybe one of them, huh? Three, right? What are they? No. First there's two types of how to listen. Yeah. Second is how to explain. Look at this mean. So now you really think, the Dharma is so important, the teaching is so important. That means how I can listen, how I can receive the teaching from a master, how to, right? That means you're talking about your condition. Second, how to explain. That means he's talking about the condition of the teacher, right? So how to listen the teaching in which both teaching and its author and grade, right? That means within this heading, how many subheadings are there? Three. What are they? Okay. Number 3. Okay. Make sure everybody, must remember the heading and subheadings. Right? That means, so before you listen the teaching, right? Before you listen the teaching, you must know what are the benefit of listening, hearing of teaching, right? Usually we do that, right? For example, before you buy, phone, before you buy washing machine, you will always check, is it good or not? If I buy, is useful or not? Right? You always think this way. So teaching is not simple kind of things. You must think, if I, listen the teaching, if I study this teaching, what kind of benefit I can have? Right? That's why, even though before you attend any teaching from any master, you must check what kind of teaching the master going to give. Yeah, the master going to give very, secret teaching. You heard. Also, you should think, I should attend or not. If I attend, can I get benefit from the teaching or not? Right? You must think this way. Then you really think, yes, I must attend. If I attend, I can benefit all. I can have all the benefit that you can attend. That means contemplating the benefit of the hearing the teaching. Should think what kind of benefit I can have. Second, developing the reverence of the teaching and the instructor. That means it's exactly, for example, you are totally confused in somewhere in the Singapore market. You are totally confused. You are lost in the center of the city. Then you are looking the direction. Then somehow you met a kind person. He said, oh, he or she said, oh, are you lost? Yes, I'm lost. He gave you, short instruction. Take this bus number, stop there, and get out. Give short, guideline. So when you get the guideline, you're not going to throw away, right? You really you have to keep the instruction, right? How to go, how to reach. If you lose the instruction, again you're going to lose in the market or in the city. That means after you receive the teaching, you must have a fully respect the teaching and who give you the instructor, right? That means look at somebody give you good advice, that you always appreciate to the person. Very important, because nowadays many people study Lamrim, study Buddha Dharma, Buddha teaching, but most of people doesn't have a really respect to the teaching. For example, when I come down with the Lamrim teaching, okay, how I come like then put this Lamrim teaching, then where's my glass case? Somewhere, right? I never put my glass case on the book. Never. I always bring it in the side or like this. Even though I never put my glass case on the Lamrim. Because I really respect this Lamrim. This is very, you can see simple book, right? But when you open, it really gives you how reduce all the suffering which is we don't want, right? It gives you how we can have all the happiness. That means it's very important. That means we must have great respect to the teaching. Not only teaching, we must have a great respect to the instructor. That means your guru. You are not me. I'm no instructor. Make sure you should not have this kind of confusion. I always says, I am your study partner. You are also my study partner. So everybody, I think have your guru, right? So you really must have a pure respect to your guru, as well as must have great respect to the teaching. For example, when you finish, the university, what you can give? You can receive the certificate, right? Now look at people keep the certificates where they care very greatly. Yeah, friend with a friend or for elimination, make sure it's not going to spoil, going to ruin. If you lost the certificate, what? You lost what? You cannot get the job. You lost what? You lost a very simple thing. If you lost the Lamrim teaching, it's great loss. So you must have respect, because it gives you all the instruction how to become Buddha. Becoming Buddha is not simple things. Then what is the number third? Yeah, how to actually listen. Look at now you can see the teaching is so important. Also you understand, the teacher, the guru is so important. I must respect to the teaching. I must respect to the teacher. Just respect is enough? No. When you get serious sickness, you must respect to the doctor, right? If you don't have a respect, doctor get angry towards you, then doctor won't see you. Or you have a great respect to the doctor, you got the instruction, right? Then actually you need to follow the instruction, right? That means how to actually listen. Now you really, bring, kind of more deeper level. Yes, Guru, if I practice Lamrim, if I practice Buddha Dharma, I can get a lot of benefit. Then I must have a great respect to the teaching, to the Guru. Then number third, yes, how I must listen. You listen, very carefully. Now we study a little bit about, the contemplating the benefit of teachings. Okay. Thus, Unaya Archka says, the sentence next one. Through hearing the phenomena are understood. Second line, through hearing, wrongdoing is overcome. Next one.
Through hearing, what is meaningless is eliminated.
Next one.
Through hearing, the Dharma is
attained. This means those are, really benefit. So why ask you to, read this one, then you have some kind of imprint in your mind. So what does mean the line number 1, first line? Through hearing, phenomena are understood. How you can understand, without, listening or without hearing the teaching, you can understand the phenomena, right? Right? So what is talking about? Through hearing, phenomena are understood. Look at phenomena here referred to like emptiness, the reality, selflessness, right? So this means when you listen the teaching, when you hearing the teaching, you understand the reality, the truth, which is emptiness, which is selflessness, which is you can call Mahamudara, you can call Dzogchen. Second, through hearing, the wrongdoing is overcome, right? That means if you really follow the teaching, you really seriously follow, then you will stop to do the wrongdoing, right? The next one, meaningless is eliminated. Meaningless. What really Dharma teach us? Teach us how to overcome from samsara, how to achieve liberation. Right? Dharma teach us how to achieve liberation. In order to achieve liberation, what you need to generate, the setup number 1, you need to generate a renunciation, right? Renunciation. Without renunciation, there's no way, you can able to overcome from samsara, able to overcome from the meaningless thing. Since we born until now, right? Since we born until now, we have been doing so many things. Within one day, we do so many things. Just make a reflection what you have done for one day, morning to until evening. You can count, I went there, I just did this. Finally, you can count what you really get, what you really achieve within one day. Nothing. So in one life, since we born until we dead, we have been doing so many things. End of the life, what do you really achieve? We haven't achieved really something meaningful. That means when you really follow the Dharma, you're going to stop all the meaningless, activities. You're going to focus for meaningful activities. So those are the, benefit. The next sentence, can you read also, just as
someone dwelling inside a house and shielded in
always.
as eye does not see, the forms are there.
Yeah, right now we are in the house. The house is totally darkness. It doesn't mean there's no light. Right? There's a lot of light, but still we cannot see the things in the house. Because even though we have the normal eyes, but still we cannot see the real object, right? If there's a light, then we can see. That means actually, as a Singaporean, I really believe all of you, highly educated person. You have a highly education. Also, many people think I'm very educated. I know everything, right? I know everything. You don't have to teach me. I know everything. Many people feel this way. Actually, we think I know everything. Actually, we don't know anything. We don't know anything. Look at. Actually, if you compare it just this morning and evening, we think I am same person, right? In the morning and afternoon, evening, you thought I am same person, right? Actually, you are not. So we have a confusion about the timing. Also, we are changing, momentarily. Every moment is changing. We don't understand. We have a confusion. That means we think we know everything, but we don't know anything. That's why, in order to know the truth, in order to know the reality, we need to study Lamrim. We need to study Dharma. Dharma is look like light. Light. When there's a light, you can see the object. Even the objects are there. There's no light, we cannot see. That means, the teachings are the light. If you study the teaching, then you have a light to know, to recognize the emptiness, selflessness, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, or karma, or law of causality. The next sentence, please everybody read. So,
Also, a person born of noble lineage, although possessing intelligence, does not know until told what is virtuous and what is not.
Right? So here I think the first sentence is a bit difficult to understand. Also, a person born of the noble lineage, although possessing intelligence, yes, we possess intelligence, we are intelligent, but does not know until told what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad, virtues and what is not, right? So the first sentence, do you know the meaning, the person born of the noble lineage? Noble lineage. I think all of you, I think, recite the Heart Sutra, right? In the Heart Sutra, do you remember the noble son, the noble daughter, noble, is same meaning, noble lineage. Okay, here I will shortly explain the meaning of lineage. We are not talking about, the continuum things, my lineage guru, my lineage teaching. We are not. Lineage means there's a simple, for example, we use a lot of logics. Buddha said in one of the sutras, Buddha said, you're going to understand there's a fire because of the smoking, right? When there's a smoking, that means definitely there's a fire. You're going to understand there's a water. You can see the water bird, the white bird, right, who always stay close to water. What do you call? The kingfish is white. Actually, kingfisher is colorful, right? Crane, yeah, crane. When you see the crane is flying around there quite long time, then you're going to understand what? There should be water. Then, Changju Sebalo then next, the first is the analogy. There's a smoke, there's a fire. There's the bird crown flying, there must be water. The water must be close around there. This is the analogy. Second, for example, there are many people who attend the teaching of the Buddha. So when Buddha give a teaching about the Bodhisattva path, like Buddha talk about bodhicitta, great compassion, among the disciples, someone really moved when they listen, when they're hearing the Mahayana teaching, this move, really their mind is really moved. Or somebody have tear. This means the person is the lineage of the Mahayan lineage. Lineage means the person has this kind of ability to practice The person have a desire to practice the Mahayan teaching. Some not much, doesn't care much about the teaching. Second, when Buddha, change the topic, Buddha talk about morally how to achieve liberation for themselves. Among some disciples really move their mind. Here you can see the indication. That means those persons are lineage of the Hinayana. Lineage means who has another should not who has the visible what you call Buddha nature. Generally we believe all sentient beings have the Buddha nature. But even though somebody has a Buddha nature, not that visible nature. That means lineage, lineage means even though you are the person, type of the person who able to practice, who wish to practice the, Buddha Sattva paths. Even though until, somebody told you, you don't understand how to practice. Right? The lineage, lineage is talking about mainly what types of person you are. The next sentence, just as one with eyes,
using the land, so through hearing what is virtuous and what is not, you will understand what should be done.
Yeah, that's meaning next after all of this, mainly explaining the benefit of teaching. Next we just skip all the quotation. You must read sentence by sentence. In the Lamrim said here somewhere. Actually, in English, there's no way we can recite this sentence with the melody, right? Melody. There's no way because. For example, Chinese language, like a Tibetan language, Hindi language, those are very unique, things. You can make a complete sentence within 5 words, 6 words, 8 words, complete sentence. English, there's no way. That's why what Tsong-kha-pa says somewhere, when you, read this quotation of benefiting this teaching, you must recite this teaching with the melody. Do you know, for example, in the Vajrayana teaching explained very well, so we have a mind, right? We have a mind, we have a thoughts. The thoughts always function, always walk with the subtle energy, subtle wind. When the wind move very smoothly, the mind also functions very smoothly. The wind has a deep connection with the melody or the sound. For example, somebody say, "Please welcome. How do you feel?" So you are going to visit your friends. The friend says, "Please welcome. How do you feel? Are you happy?" No happy. Right? "Please welcome. How do you feel?" Happy. But the using same word. The sound, the melody is different. Right? Sometimes you are not, you're not able to practice teaching or you're not able to practice meditation because your mind is so disturbed. Sometimes you really have. Just listen, beautiful music or beautiful, like chanting, beautiful, like singing. Then your mind become very calm. Then you should not continuously listen to the music. Then you must practice the Dharma and do the meditation. Yes, in monastery, one of my friends, I said, "Oh, sometimes we feel so bored, so difficult to understand. We just, listening music. He's so happy. And when we study, very easy to understand." Then he said, yes, true. I have a same experience. That's mean, so this Tsong-kha-pa says, just recite this quotation with the melody. When you recite this chanting with the melody, he says, you can get, really good effect. That's why I say, welcome. You get angry. But the person said, with the good motivation, say, welcome. Right? It's a good motivation, but the way of saying is not nice. Even though another important, somebody said, with the bad motivation, the person not happy welcoming you, but still they use, the fact, please welcome. Someday you can feel it. The person doesn't have the good motivation, because when you hear the sound, you can understand the person doesn't have a good motivation. This means, the man is connection with the subtle energy. The subtle energy has a link with the melody. That's why in ancient time you can see, all the master, all the teacher, when they give a teaching, they keep teaching with a beautiful melody. Tone, yeah. Melody is tone different, right? Tone, yeah. Look at that's why in the India where you go to temple, all the the people do a lot of we call bhajan. They look like we sing, they are singing. They are not really singing. They are doing like a chanting with the tone or melody. Okay, next. Sorry, I take a lot of time. So the next sentence, I think we have to study a little bit. Page number 57. So moreover, Asanga Bodhisattva level, Bodhisattva Bhumi says, now the Dharma is so important, right? Number one. So look at, I said, the Lamrim teaching or any Buddha teaching is not just, the ordinary books. It's not ordinary teaching. It's very important or very rare teaching. Number one, the idea of jewel. Number two, yes. Number three, number four, number fifth. Okay, that's why, in order to have a great respect to the teaching, first you need to know all the benefits. Moreover, in order to have a great respect, you must know the Dharma, the teaching is like a jewel, right? Jewel. Jewel here not talking about like, gold, like, like diamond. The ancient time we believe, that there's a particular jewel, right? We call what wish wanting jewel. I don't know there was exists or not. Wish wanting jewel. This kind of so rare, so rare. And then in the ancient time they use another analogy. We call Udumvara flower. Udumvara flower. They say they grow up. One Buddha take a rebirth, they grow up. The flower, the sprout. Then second Buddha, come on the planet. Then before flower, there's another what called bud come. The third Buddha come, they fully open. It takes long time. That means look impossible this kind of flower. That means the teaching is so rare. Why? Have you do your homework? Why the teaching is so rare? Oh yeah. Look, the Buddha teaching is so rare because Buddha coming on the planet is so rare. That means teaching is so rare. Even though, I know the teaching is so rare, but if not important, not useful, we don't need to care, right? That means the teaching is so important, it's not taught by Buddha Shakyamuni, Buddha very often. That means teaching is so rare, coming Buddha on the planet is so rare. Number two, eyes. Right? Why the teaching is look like eyes? Eye. Become greater and greater, right? Number three, idea of illumination. Illuminate. Illuminate what? There's two types of, right? Real nature and diversity. This is very important. After you study Buddha Dharma, then you're going to understand, you're going to realize the two truths. What are the two truths? Conventional truth and ultimate truth. Okay. Make sure when you think about the true truth, you should not think that two phenomena is separate. Okay? You should not think this way. You should think the two truths are one coin, two sides. Two sides. Okay? That means, one phenomena. For example, this is books, Dharma books. This book is conventional truth. Conventional truth. The emptiness of this book is ultimate truth. Why we need to know the true truths? If you know the conventional truths, if you really know the conventional truths, that means you're going to know, the law of causality. Law of causality, cause and effect. Then next, if you know the conventional truth, that means you're going to understand the ultimate truth. When you're going to understand the ultimate truth of this book, then you're going to understand how you can reduce the ignorance of this book, on this book, how to reduce the attachment desire of this book. That's why, so true truth is the foundation of the Buddhism. I told you many times, there's a true truth, therefore there are four noble truths. There are four noble truths, therefore there are Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Right? If you don't understand true truths, then you're not going to understand the four noble truths. You don't understand the four noble truths, then you're not going to understand Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. If you don't understand Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, what's the problem? Why? I'm not saying if you don't understand the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, I'm not saying you're not going to become a Buddhist. I'm not going to say this way. I said, if you don't recognize a Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, then you're not going to understand how to cut the road of the samsara, how to achieve Buddhahood. Because within the, three jewels, which one is more important? Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, which one is more important? Dharma. When you get sick, doctor, medicine, nurse, which is more important for you? Medicine. Right? Medicine. The Dharma is like a medicine. Buddha is look like doctor. Sanghas look like nurse. There's many, if you understand the Four Noble Truths, then you really feel, yes, if I practice the Four Noble Truths, then I'm going to eliminate my ignorance, all the negative thoughts. Then I will become Buddha, right? Become Buddha. That's why, through the teaching of the Buddha, then you're going to understand the true phenomena, which is ultimate and conventional. What is the number 4? Yeah, the idea of great benefit. Result of the nirvana and great enlightenment, right? So we are not saying, if you practice, if you hearing teaching, you're going to accumulate merit. We're not saying this. You should not say, oh, you must study Lamrim, you must study Buddha teaching because you're going to accumulate a lot of merit. No, you should say, you must study Buddha teaching or Buddha Dharma. If you practice study Buddha Dharma, what are you going to achieve? Liberation and a great enlightenment, right? Nirvana and great enlightenment, right? So here, differentiate between nirvana and Buddhahood. The great enlightenment always refer to the Buddhahood. Number 5. So what does mean? What does mean? The idea of being beyond, reproach. Then since from this very moment you will attend bliss of meditative serenity and insight. Again, look at Buddhahood, liberation. You must achieve through meditation. Okay, meditations, we are not talking about simple mindfulness. He's talking more, serious one. What Buddha said, all the good qualities, are a result of karma body and spiritual insight. That means in order to achieve Buddhahood, you really need to practice meditation. You have to go through meditation for many months. Finally, first you're going to achieve what? Karma body. Second, spiritual insight. All of them is, result or benefit of the teaching. Next, we have more little bit time. Developing the relevance of the teachings and the instructor. Look at, listen to the teaching with one-pointed faith and respect. Don't censure and deride speaker. Honor your instructor, Buddha. You see, giving us, advice. So that means when you listen teaching, you must listen the teaching with the, mindfulness. So there was a, interesting, picture. That means, I really like this photo. In the computer, there's somebody, they put one books here. They put a novel here in the picture. While he study, the phone rings, look phone, and then study, then again phone, and book. Then finally, he just left the book, just spent with the phone. Right, with the phone. We are doing like this, huh? That means when you study, when you doing practice, just give, stay away all the, the technology, all the distraction thing. Even though you should not keep your mobile with next to you. Even though somebody, put in the silence, vibration. If you keep your mobile next to you, you are expecting, right? Somebody calling, somebody texting you. That's when you got distraction. That means you must fully focus on your teaching, fully focus your study of Dharma, fully focus on your meditation. Just, stay away from this thing for maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Particularly when you listen teaching, you really have to listen the teaching very carefully. Then, of course, you should not have a, censure or deride to a speaker. Then next, all the Buddha, you talk about another 6 attitude, right? Mental attitude. Yeah, attitude. So that's me we're talking about, so next I give you, I don't think everybody really, has done the homework properly. Anyway, one more, all the numbers. Page number 58, abandoning the 3 faults of the vessels, right? Vessels. Then 6 adya, rely on the 6 adya. So next time when I ask question, everybody must explain me without looking the text. Okay. So next, we should go very quickly how to listen, how to explain. The next, I will start the new lesson, rely on the teacher. That means there's a very order, right? Benefit of the teaching. Then, how I must listen. How I must respect to the instructor or teacher. Then, when you find the teacher, how I must rely on the teacher. That means you are sick, you know the medicine important, you must know the doctor is good, then how I must rely on the doctor? Okay, so next we will start the new class, rely on the teacher. Because relying on the teacher, we spend maybe benefit of the teacher, for the teacher, we spend like I think 2 classes. Is very important, huh? Relying on the teacher, we will spend 2 classes. In the meditation season, then we will do maybe do bit faster. Okay, so we stop here. So we're going to do the dedication prayers. So everybody must know how to dedicate the merit, accumulating through study Lamrim. Also, Sonam put all the prayers into English, in also Chinese.